Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. On Monday, August 19th, the safety, security, and confidential location of the Weaver Domestic Violence Center was shattered. Two individuals had arrived that morning and began pounding on our doors. What did they want? They were demanding that our domestic violence shelter staff, my staff, hand over a woman and a child who had come to us a few days earlier for safety. We quickly realized that the woman who had sought refuge with us was the former girlfriend of a Nashville gang member. The man and woman who were banging on our doors were sent there to bring back their gang leader's property, our client and her child. Both were huddled in a closet with a caseworker, far away from the front door as they could possibly be. They were scared and intimidated. That day, there were 49 other women and children staying with us at the YWCA's domestic violence shelter. Each and every one of those women and children were put at risk. Each and every one of those women had already fled a violent home environment to seek shelter at the YWCA. This situation is a microcosm of what's happening not only in Nashville, but in Tennessee, throughout our country, and around the world. Violence against women has reached epidemic proportions and is the largest human rights issue facing us in Nashville, in Tennessee, and in the United States. And to quote former President Jimmy Carter, violence against women is the most pervasive human rights violation in the world. Here are some of the facts. 1 in 4 women will experience some kind of domestic violence in her lifetime. It's estimated that 1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner every year in our country. 1 in 6 women will be victims of rape or sexual assault, and 44% of those will be girls under the age of 18. Every 90 seconds in the United States, a woman is sexually assaulted. It's estimated that 17,500 women and children are trafficked into the United States annually for sex and labor. Minors who are trafficked are sold 10 to 15 times a day, 6 to 7 days a week. That means each victim is used almost 15,000 times a year. The average age of a girl trafficked is 13 years of age. I want to go off script a little bit here. What is the average age of a man who buys a 13-year-old? Where does he work? I wonder what religious affiliation he has. I would love to stand up someday and talk more about that. More than 50% of the girls report experiencing sexual harassment in school. Domestic violence or partner violence is the leading cause of injury to women between the ages of 15 and 44. Domestic violence results in 18.5 million mental health care visits a year. 85% of all domestic violence impacts women, and most cases of domestic violence are never reported. I'm not going to talk about the cost because Phyllis Qualls-Brooks is going to address that later. But this epidemic affects individuals in every community, regardless of age, economic status, race, religion, nationality, or educational background. I know I'm sort of preaching to the choir here, but human rights are based on the principle of respect for the individual. They are the rights to which everyone is entitled, no matter who they are or where they live, simply because they are alive. Violence against women is a violation of women's human rights. It persists because, for centuries, women have been thought of as having less value than men. They've been treated as objects. They've been treated as property. The use of fear and intimidation that was happening at the Weaver Center on that August 19th day paints a vivid picture of one woman's human rights violations: fear, intimidation, power, control, inequity. Last week, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation released its latest Crime in Tennessee report for 2013. It showed that most major crimes in our state are going down. That's great news. However, the crime of domestic violence is not dropping. 51.4% of all crimes in Tennessee are domestic violence related. That is a small increase over the previous year. Tennessee, we thought, ranked 6th, heard today, ranks 5th in the nation at the rate at which men kill women. Tennessee ranks 5th or 6th in the nation at the rate at which men kill women. In Davidson County in 2013, the Metro Police Department responded to more than 26,000 domestic violence calls. That averages a call every 20 minutes. In his 51st annual State of Metro address 2 weeks ago, Mayor Dean singled out domestic violence, and I quote, "one area of our criminal justice system where we know we need to do better." That's because nearly half of the violent crimes committed in Davidson County are domestic violence related. Mayor Dean's administration has spent 2 years studying the problem and developing solutions, and I'm pleased that many of the task force recommendations are moving forward to fix issues and assist survivors. These include a victim resource center in Nashville, 10 additional advocate positions, and a special docket to prosecute offenders. Again, this is great news, and at the YW, we will continue to provide services to survivors. But it's time we focus on prevention. It's only through prevention that we'll break the cycle and control and reduce violence. Men use violence to control women, to diminish their value and their self-worth. It devastates lives, it fractures families, it ruins communities. We see this in and out, day and night at the Weaver Domestic Violence Center. Women come to us, some of the most courageous women I've ever met, often arriving in a hospital gown with nothing but a purse or a plastic bag of clothing or a few diapers. The violence against the women who seek shelter at the Weaver Center and the hundreds and even thousands of those who suffer silently in our community is the direct result of perceived inequity between men and women. Simply put, in our world today, women are not seen as equal. We are not seen as having the same value as the men in our society. The YW has launched an Engaging Men initiative to change a culture where women are perceived than less than. We want our city to be a place where all women are valued and all women are safe. And we are inviting all the men in our community to be part of this cultural change. Last August, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's Director Mark Wynn spoke to a crowd of 300 folks at a YW event. It was our first Engaging Men opportunity, and I quote him by saying, "The only way to prevent violence is to start with those people who have the potential to become abusers. In short, men have to become men. We're the ones committing the majority of these crimes, and they're the only ones that can stop it." I truly believe Director Gwynn's remarks. We need men to help us stop this epidemic. Working with men, the YW is rolling out a preventive initiative to change attitudes and behaviors of men and boys that lead and support men's violence against women by supporting the culture. Last month, 300 coaches and athletic directors gathered for our first call to coaches, which addressed the important role that coaches play in developing young men of character. After that school event, I received an email, actually it was 15 minutes after that event, from a Metro school teacher and a coach. And here's what he said: "I am really struggling every day with many situations where I am faced with the way boys and men treat our female students. I need help. These boys are 10, 11, 12, and 13 years of age." The man who closed our program that day told his own personal story of violence. Chris Sanders is a retired Tennessee Titan and now faculty at MBA. He talked about walking into his home as an 8th grade boy and being greeted by his sister's screams. She was being abused by her boyfriend. Sanders told the boyfriend, "That's no way to treat a woman." And the abusive boyfriend replied, "Nobody ever taught me any different." Today, we have an opportunity to teach young boys about gender equality, about the value of girls and women. We have the opportunity to make a difference. We have to join together as a community to stop this epidemic, this human rights violation, and make Nashville the safest city in the country for women and girls. Our girls deserve to be safe in their schools. They deserve to be safe when they go to college. They deserve to be safe in their future workplaces, and they deserve to be safe in their homes. The Weaver Domestic Violence Center is a safe place for women to stay, but it's after they become a victim. And it stayed safe that day in August when the gangs knocked on our door. I'm proud to say our staff quickly responded. We called and got great help from our Metro Police Department. And with their help, that young woman and her child were taken to the bus station and headed out of town to start a new life in a new city. She called us about a month ago. Her daughter's in school, she's employed, they are safe, and they are out of a gang. That is a happy ending, one we need to repeat. Thank you. Thank you.